For just general function and to move your best, you want to integrate everything together. And that's one of the problems with, like, okay, I want to exercise my abs, and so I'm going to lay on the ground and do these oblique crunches or whatever. And it's like, yes, you're working those things, or you're on the oblique machine at the gym, right? Or the crunch machine or whatever. Or you're on the pec deck fly, and a lot of these things, they will build muscle, right? They'll help you to hypertrophy, to tone up and stuff, but they don't actually build functional real life strength because they're building this strength in isolation. All right, quick little video here, guys. I've just been working with a client who had some disc herniation, right? He got through physical therapy, but he was really had a lot of weakness and stuff going on, and he just wanted to return to a normal level of functioning so that he could actually do manual labor stuff again. And one of the things that he was complaining about is that if you'd hold like a moderately heavy weight in one hand, like for example his toolbox or something, right, it would cause him to rotate forward like this. So I was thinking about, and I was thinking, okay, well, his obliques are involved in this, but those are more going to cause you to rotate that way anyway, because your internal oblique here is going to cause this, ipsilateral, I guess you call it, or same side rotation this way, and then the contralateral external oblique up here is going to cause you to, and they kind of assist each other to rotate this way, right? So the right one is going to cause the right shoulder to come forward, left down here is going to pull to the same side, assisting that way. But we don't really want to do that. We want to go the opposite way. So got to thinking, I was like, okay, well, if we put in a staggered stance like this, so I was thinking, okay, well, we could be doing, one arm rows or something, right? Because that's going to help to rotate you this way, right? But then I got to thinking, okay, well, what about in standing? Because if you're doing a one arm row like this, your left leg is forward, and when you think about it, the glute actually helps to rotate you as well. So if you stand like this with a resistance band, and eventually this will get too easy, right? So I was thinking you could probably hang a gymnastics ring over a rafter or something, or you could use a TRX, or you could just go on the squat rack and basically support yourself in the left leg, grab onto the bar with the right arm, and do essentially a row like that, right? But we can use this resistance band like this. So if you go like this, but the push the left hand forward while you're also pulling with the right, you're going to feel, go like that, you're going to feel your obliques tighten up, and then you're also going to feel your left glute tightening up, and then your lats are also working at the same time. It actually feels really good, like just very natural. I can feel my whole back here just kind of fired up, and then a little bit here on the left glute as well. And that's really what you want to be doing. That's actually in the way I see it, functional exercise is really about integrating the whole body to work as one functional unit as it's designed to do, right? It's like when you're running or you're jumping or whatever, you're not using these muscles in isolation. They're all coordinated together and working together, right? That doesn't mean that you shouldn't do isolation exercises, right? They have their purpose, like when you're in rehab or something like that, and you're trying to get, the feel of that muscle back and stuff, but eventually you want to integrate it all back together. The other use could be like, if you're doing these functional movement patterns, right, and these full body movements, and then to add an extra hypertrophy component and add extra volume in there with these isolation movements and stuff, then that could be beneficial. But for just general function and to move your best, you want to integrate everything together. And that's one of the problems with, like, okay, I want to exercise my abs, and so I'm going to lay on the ground and do these oblique crunches or whatever. And it's like, yes, you're working those things, or you're on the oblique machine at the gym, right? Or the crunch machine or whatever, or you're on the pec deck fly. And a lot of these things, they will build muscle, right? They'll help you to hypertrophy, to tone up and stuff, but they don't actually build functional real life strength, because they're building this strength in isolation. They're not integrating your core and the other and the lower body integrated with the upper body into the movement. Because when in everyday life, when you're out there playing sports, when you're doing yard work, when you're doing manual labor, you're using all these muscles together. You're not sitting down on something most of the time doing some chest presses or whatever, right? And it's not to say that you shouldn't bench press, you shouldn't do all those kind of things, but you should have as the foundation of what you're doing, having like work your core while you're standing up, right? And which is kind of what you're doing here, right? You are working those internal and external obliques, but at the same time, you're also working the glutes, and you're working the lats, the rear delts, and everything like that at the same time. And so you're actually, using the body as it was designed to be used, as one functional unit. So guys, hopefully this video helps you out a little bit, gives you a little bit better understanding of what functional exercise actually is. I think one of the main drawbacks of traditional, more machine exercises, bodybuilding type exercises and stuff, is not that they are necessarily bad, as it were, but that they don't integrate the core into the exercise. The core is kind of done as a separate thing, more for aesthetics purposes, and you can get a six-pack while still being dysfunctional in your core. Because your core is everything from the neck to the top of the pelvis, wrapping all the way around, and that includes your multifidi in your back here. It includes your rectus spinae, your quadratus lumborum, your lats, all that kind of stuff. Internal, external obliques, transverse abdominals, rectus abdominis, all these things working together, right, to provide that stable base of support to then produce motion off of, right? So when you're doing your training, see if you cannot combine core training with some other exercise that you're already doing. So for example, if you're doing an overhead press, you're already building core strength while you're pressing that thing overhead, because you have to support yourself and prevent flexion, lateral bending and stuff while you're doing the press. Same thing if you're doing a squat. I especially like doing overhead squats, because you have to have that mobility in the ankles, mobility in the hips, mobility in the knees, mobility in the shoulders, and that also the stability in the shoulders too, to balance that weight over your head. Same thing goes for if you're doing pull-ups, right? Pull-ups is actually one of the best abdominal exercises you can do, and it's also going to be working your lats, working your biceps, working most of the muscles in your body all simultaneously. Now obviously the prime movers in the exercise are going to be your lats, a little bit of your upper back, and then your biceps, but you're also training your core at the same time. And so other things you could do would be, waiter's carries, where you're holding the weight over your head, walking with it, right? So you're integrating the core with the legs, with the arms, right? Another thing would be if you're doing a farmer's carry or a suitcase carry, right? Suitcase carry, you're holding it offset like this, walking with a heavy weight, and because you don't want to bend this way, the obliques have to bring you back that way. And so you're training your core, but you're training your core in integration with the rest of the body. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content like this related to corrective exercise, which this one kind of was, so how to prevent from getting muscular imbalances, how to prevent from getting injuries, and if you do get injuries, from how to kind of rehabilitate yourself and get back to up to speed as fast as possible, how to build muscle, how to perform better in sports, how to eat for fat loss or building muscle. If any of that kind of stuff interests you, then consider subscribing to the channel by hitting the button in the lower right hand corner of the screen. We'll see you all next time for more health and fitness information.